Hi everybody, welcome to my latest YouTube video. This one's about filling up a multiplier with braid. It's something that gets asked all the time. I see it on social media all the time, people saying, I don't know what to do, how do I do it? My line's spinning on my spool, my clutch isn't working properly, my reel's not working. The thing to remember is with multipliers, is that once you get them set up properly for the first time, you'll have no problems whatsoever. And most people try a multiplier and say, I've had enough, I don't like it, it don't bloody work, I'm fed up of it. It's all because you've not set it up properly. So the first thing, the most important thing is to set it up correctly right from the beginning. And the most important thing is putting the braid on the multiplier. So this is an old Katala, old Shimano Katala, and originally these are flat spools. And what happened with the flat spools is that you had nowhere to tie your braid on, so it was just smooth. So what you used to have to do is tie a really tight double hand knot, overhand knot, tighten it as tight as you could, and then you used to put insulation tape over the top. And what I used to do is do 2 or 3 turns over the top. And what that does, it keeps the knot in place to begin with, but then what it does is when you go over the top with those next loops, that tightens it all down. The most important thing to remember with this is that you tighten it all down. If it goes on rock solid, it'll work fantastic. If it doesn't go on rock solid, you're going to start with problems straight away. It's coming up to pike season. It's in September now, coming up into October. So we've got some new gear. This is a BFT Instinct X7 limited edition. Brand spanking new, out of the box. I've got the original X7 that I've had for about 7 or 8 years, which is bulletproof, absolutely bulletproof, and it's still as smooth as any Katala or Calcutta I own or Abu and Revos and stuff. It's still as smooth as the day I bought it, without a single service, which I need to send it away to be fair. So the thing is, I've got to put this on. I'm also matching it with a brand new rod. That is a Lizard X, BFT Lizard X, and that's the Stephen Truman signature series. It's absolutely gorgeous. 710. 130 casting weight, so that'll obviously be used tomorrow. Again, what you need to remember, you only need half a rod. You don't need a full rod to do this, you only need half a rod. Right, so what we're going to do, we've got some strike wire here. I've got some strike wire, and what I've done, I've actually sat it in a bowl of warm water. The reason for that is that when you put braid on a reel for the first time, what people tend to do is they fill it as tight as possible, they put it right up to the lip at spool, and then what they do is they go out fishing, cast it into water, it absorbs water, no matter what anybody says, braid absorbs water, and what it does, it swells on the spool. And then what happens, if you filled it level when you tighten it on originally, without water, any moisture on it, what happens is as soon as it gets any water on it, it starts to swell up and it stops your spool from spinning properly. And it causes overruns and stuff like that, so it's really important that when you put it on, 10-15 minutes you want to leave it in some warm water, not boiling water, just some warm water out of tap. That's aired water out of kettle, so it's working perfectly. So that's there, it's all working nice. And then what we're going to do, we're going to put the braid through the eye, through there, and then we're going to put it through there, the aligner. And then lucky for us, on the Instinct, you've actually got a little knob in the middle of the spool which allows you to put a little loop and put it through. So what we'll do, we'll put that on now, and then I've got a glamorous assistant to help me do the rest of it. I'll shake off excess water, because you don't want that all over the house, my wife will go mad. More than usual. I'm going to take a little bit of line off, you want about 2.5, 3 foot to start with. What you're going to do, you're going to put it through there, through the eye. I've already put a little loop in it, a little overhand loop, a little tiny one there. You're going to thread it through there. Hopefully it'll go through okay. Put the free spool on there. Put the loop over the top, like so. And then we're going to start winding. Now it's really important that what you do is you set your clutch absolutely rock solid on this job. You don't want any slippage whatsoever, you want it rock solid. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to I'll just do a couple of turns on it. Just to start it off with, don't need to be tons, just a few turns. That's it, just it's not going to fall off, it's not going to come off. What we're going to do now, I'm going to turn the camera around and let my glamorous assistant, do you want to come and say hello? Yep. Come say hello to everybody.
Hi, my name's Poppy.
I know who you are now, you've always on bloody camera, aren't you? Right, yeah. You get yourself up there, that's your job now. Right, what we'll do now, we'll turn the camera around and point it at Poppy. Her part's as important as my part on this. It's definitely a 2-man job or a 1.5 person's job. what we're going to do now, we'll turn the camera around and show you what Poppy's got to do.
Hi, so as my dad told you that I am doing the line for the fishing rod. So first you're going to need a straw or
That's
whatever.
like a metal straw, isn't it?
Yeah. And then you're going to have a cloth towel, whatever you call it.
Wet thing. Just one thing to remember is that the line is quite important. The line comes off top of the spool. It goes through the reel from the top of the spool, not underneath. So Poppy's got it right way there. And you're going to wrap your little fingers up in there, aren't you?
Yep.
And why do you do that, Poppy?
So that
Because it goes really tight, doesn't it?
Yeah. Sorry, the TV's just played by normal. So make sure it cannot move. So now we're gonna get on to my dad reeling.
So now you've seen Poppy's over that end, and what she's doing, it's quite important, she's keeping that tension on that spool. The reason we put the cloth around is so that she can actually slow it down as much as possible. It's vitally important you put it on really hard, as really tight as you can. And what I'm also going to do, I'm also going to put some tension on it with this. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put this over the top of the rod, and I'm going to trap the braid with my fingers like that. So the actual braid's coming from Poppy under tension, going through the eye at tension, it's going through the cloth at tension, then it's going at the spool. And what I'll do, I'll start reeling. Now this is a horrible job, but unfortunately he's doing, so I might not show it all, but you'll get some sort of gist, and you'll see when it's all on there and how close you get the spool. So let's go. Are you ready, Poppy?
Yep.
Much tension as possible.
Nice and simple. I mean, it's not that simple
That ain't
to get all sorted.
that ain't going on the table, is it? Make sure it's not banging on the table, I'm going to go mad. Tight as possible. Close your hands as close. Tight. That's it. That's good. Now, when we actually get it all on the spool, you think that's a job, and you think most people will go out and start casting and they'll be ready. It isn't actually. That's actually the half of the job, and I'll show you why when it's all on. I'm just going to do a bit of fast reeling. Now, if you get it right, you can actually feel it burning. Can you feel it burning? Is it burning your fingers a little bit?
It's alright.
It's going okay, is it? Right, good.
So
It's actually going on. It's got a lovely level line, this, so it's going on really well.
yeah, it's nice and simple, but say when you're like hooking it up or something like that, it's not as simple. Water's coming to my face.
Just keep, make sure it's nice and taut.
Yeah. But it's nice and simple.
Is it splashing you?
Yeah.
Right. God, you can tell I'm old, can't you? I'm tired already.
No.
It's a good job I can't cast this far, isn't it? I won't be able to reel them in all the time.
Oh yeah.
Have a go again.
So you know when it's coming to the end, because you'll see like
You will get 10, Poppy. This will
Yeah.
take about 110 metres of line.
yeah, but like I say, if you've already used like quarter
Right.
or half of it.
Right, so I'm up to the maximum, and the reason I can tell that is because it's swelling, because it's wet. It's actually stopped. It slowed the spool down. Now it's vitally important that you actually overfill at this stage, because when we rebed it in, like we're going to do later, because we're going to go outside for that. What will happen? When I bed it in properly, it'll go tighter onto the spool. So it's really important that you overfill the spool slightly. If you underfill it, you can't add it, but if you overfill it, you can take a little bit off. And what I generally do is I get it perfectly level, absolutely perfectly level, and then when it's absolutely perfectly level, I'll maybe take about 10-15 foot off, cut it off, and that's where I'll start. So that's it from here. That's all we have to do. I'll make a little cut there.
Yep.
Keep it taut, Pops. Got it taut? It's all nice and tight. There you go. That's it. So
Yeah.
the inside part's done. What we're going to do now is pop outside and do the hard part. Right, so what we've done now, I've come down to local park, and this is one of the most important parts about doing any sort of bedding on of a braid. What we're going to do, we're going to tie a loop now and tie it around a good old fence post. Now it's really important if you're doing anything like this that you do it in quite an open area and you make sure that somebody's with you, because last thing you want to do is to let a load of line out and someone walk through it and grot themselves. So it's quite important that you've got somebody with you. So I've got Poppy here, and what she's going to do, she's going to just keep an eye on people, make sure nobody walks through it. So what we'll do now, we'll tie a decent loop around here. Don't have to be all special.
So people
Couple of couple of O-brand knots. Make sure it's pretty tight so it can't slip. So tighten it up. You're not going to lose a little bit of line. It's not going to be a lot. That's rock solid now. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to walk, put it in free spool, take it all the way down to the bottom of the park, and I'm going to walk it back. So what I'll do now, turn the camera around, you'll see what I do. You can see now, pretty much at most of the lines off of here now. We're going to do it nearly right to end. I'm not going to do it right to end, but not far off that. That should be about perfect. So what we're going to do now, hopefully you can see, I'm actually going to tighten up, make sure that clutch is on solid, and I'm literally going to walk, let the line pull me all the way back to the post. Or all the way back to Poppy. And literally it's pulling me this. I'm not putting it back on slack. It's literally pulling me to the post. That's why it's really important you get your clutch rock solid. It's going on lovely as that. You need to do it quick as well, because obviously you don't want to have a chance of anybody hurting themselves. It's going on nice and tight as that. Like I say, you don't need full rod. Actually got a bit of, that's it. Going as lovely as that. Nice and tight. Gosh, my hands are hurting.
I'll do it.
No, it's okay. As you can see straight away, that's going much tighter now.
Oh, talking to the camera.
When you're talking to the camera. That is literally perfect, I would say. 20 feet and we're done. Oh my word, that is tiring. Done. Right, that's it then. Hopefully you can see me here. That's it. Braid is filled perfect little level now to the spool. It's rock solid onto there. So tomorrow I've got full confidence when I get to to the river and I start casting about, I'll have no problems whatsoever. No backlashes, no overruns or anything like that. It's really tight, you can feel it. You can't get your nail between any individual coils. That's how to fill it up proper. That's the best way to do it. That's how I've been doing it for, I don't know, 17 years, and it's never ever let me down. Simple as that. Right, one last thing. Tag on to the end of this video. Tying your trace on. I'm going to show you a knot that I use all the time for tying traces on, and I use this for ultralights all the way through. What you want to do, you want to make a loop like that. Just like that, dead basic. So what you're going to do, you're going to put your loop through the eye of your swivel. This £365 test swivel, same with the snap, a £95 test titanium wire. I'm making myself go through the eye. Now what you want to do, put your finger in there, go over the top and thread it back through there. And then what you're going to do with a little loop, I'll put it up there, the original loop, you're going to pass your trace through it. So there's your stay lock. Over the top, all the way, like so. Hopefully you can see it there. You're going to pull it all tight. What you're going to do, wet it. You're going to grab tag end, pull tight with a melee all together, and that'll bed it all down. What you're going to do, you're going to cut it off like that. It leaves a little tiny tag, hopefully. You know, get your lighter again and just touch the end. What it'll do, it'll leave a little blob on end, and what that'll do, it'll stop it ever from being able to pull through there. Give it a really good solid tight like that, and there you go, ready for fishing. Again, that's how I've always done it. It's always done me really, really well. It's a really strong knot.